Hello friends. So today I have something very special, something I've been really wanting to try for a long time but have been unable to find it until today. Ruby chocolate. Now Ruby chocolate is a very special chocolate variety that was developed by Barry Calabout, and this is a special chocolate that has been processed in a way that gives it a pink color. How I believe this is done is there's a special variety of cacao that the beans are processed in a certain way that gives it this. According to an article here that I'm looking at, production methods are not known, they're keeping it a secret, but it's speculated that they use only slightly fermented cacao beans. Cocoa beans are usually fermented for like a long time, and that is what gives it its flavor. They're saying here that it's only fermented slightly or not at all. The company also registered a patent in 2009 for a cacao-derived material from unfermented cocoa beans that become red or purple after treating them with citric acid and then defatting them with petroleum ether. So what that means is they do stuff to it, makes it pink. And this is something that there's a ton of YouTube videos about, but they're all talking about this usually, the Kit Kat, because the first major release of this product was by Kit Kat in Japan and in Korea. There's about 50,000 YouTube videos about Kit Kats. Having a ruby chocolate variety of Kit Kat, of course, people are reviewing that. What's even harder to find are other products made out of it. Kit Kat, that's great, love Kit Kat. But what about this? This is straight up ruby chocolate, no little wafers, none of that stuff. This was made by a fancy pants chocolate company here in Tallinn, Estonia. I think what happens, they just get like a big mass of this ruby chocolate from the main producer, and then they process it in-house. I think this will be more accurate of what ruby chocolate tastes like in its purest form. Kit Kat, I'm sure gives you an idea of it, but there's other stuff in here. This chocolate company had like a lot of different products that they would make, all sorts of things. So I picked up everything that they had that had ruby chocolate in it, just to kind of give like a comparison. This one is just like straight up chunks of ruby chocolate. This is a ruby chocolate bark that has fruit mixed into it. And for fun, I got some teeth. Because, I don't know, it's pink. It does have like the perfect kind of like dental coloring. So it makes sense that they made this. It's very creepy looking though. But we're going to start with straight up ruby chocolate. It's really good. It's different though. It tastes a little bit like white chocolate, but it also tastes like a very mild milk chocolate. It's a little bit yogurt-y, which I guess makes sense because as I mentioned, there is citric acid added to this. It's subtle, but there is a slight tartness to it. But it's not the tartness that you would get from like a lemon. It's like the tartness that you would get from like a sour milk product, like buttermilk or like a tart yogurt. It actually works well with this. I read some places that this has a berry-like flavor. It kind of does, but I wonder how much of that is just like your mind playing tricks on you. Like these are not fully fermented. These are not fully processed like the same way. So I think you're getting a little bit more fruit flavor in here. And cacao has, I don't know, it's got kind of like a tart, melony, berry-like flavor. So I think you're getting a touch of that natural cacao flavor. Not necessarily berries, but when you take that natural cacao flavor and a little extra sourness and you see the pink, that does make sense. Next, I'm going to try a piece of this bark here with little raspberry bits on it. This goes really well with berries. It reminds me a little bit of having raspberry yogurt, but with chocolate. That extra sharpness that comes from the berries really works well with the sharpness that is already in the chocolate. Next, Kit Kats. I got this in Finland, but these are available all throughout Europe now. This was actually the standard. When I went into a regular supermarket, they didn't have regular Kit Kats, but they did have the Ruby Kit Kat. They're not just available in Japan, where they were first introduced. These are all throughout Europe, and I think next they're going to Canada, and then maybe eventually they will show up in the US. As you watch this video, they might be in the US right now, and this video is incredibly boring. So sadly, these already broke into pieces while it was in my bag, so I don't have the satisfaction of snapping these into pieces, breaking off a piece of that Kit Kat bar and what have you. So I will try not to let that affect this review. This is very different tasting. This does not taste like this at all. I think the outside of it is ruby chocolate, but the inside of it is regular chocolate. I mean, don't get me wrong, it tastes good, but it does taste different. You still get that touch of tartness to it, that extra fruity taste to it, but then you're also getting milk chocolate. So I think that this is a little bit deceptive. When you mix it with the regular chocolate, it does clash a little bit. It goes, but it does clash a little bit. Like, you get two distinctive tastes in there. With this, it's like a little bit cleaner. This is good. I like it. I think I like it actually more than your regular Kit Kat. However, I don't think it's a replacement for regular Kit Kat. It's very different. This is like eating like a raspberry Kit Kat bar or like an orange Kit Kat bar. Where it's like, it's good, but you're not going to want to like continue to eat it. You want to eat it like once or twice as like a novelty or like once in a while. You're not going to want it to replace just regular chocolate Kit Kat. But I think that's about it, guys. This is a really interesting thing to get to try. Ruby chocolate is really odd. It's a new breakthrough in chocolate. I mean, we've for so long have only had dark chocolate, milk chocolate, white chocolate, and now we have pink chocolate. And I think it's really good. I think there's a lot that can be done with it. Kit Kats are, I think, a bad example. It is good, but there is so much more that can be done. So I hope that this doesn't spoil things for people now that Kit Kat is on the market, because these are good, but they're not really showing the whole potential of regular Ruby chocolate. Oh yeah, I forgot about the teeth. I think it's like white chocolate teeth and then like pink. That's disgusting. Okay. Yeah, it tastes the same as this. No difference whatsoever. It's the same thing. It's just gross because it's shaped like teeth. But trying this again right now, once again it kind of like settles in with me that I do prefer this taste over this taste. Both are good. I think that if you can get your hands on the Kit Kats, definitely do try these. So I'd say try that, because that's the easiest to get your hands on. And if you don't like it, don't let that spoil you on Ruby chocolate. It is still really, really good. I'd say wait a little bit, and eventually the regular ones, well, maybe not ones that look like teeth, regular ones will show up at supermarkets too, and it's good. Hopefully it'll be around to stay. Okay, see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey, before you click out, I want to give a very special thank you to AltPod, Smarter Every Day, and the Harbor Leaf Tea Company. They are mega patrons over on Patreon.com. Patreon.com, if you haven't heard of it, it is how this channel happens. It's how I get all the funding to go on the trips I go on and how I get all the fruit that I try. So if you're interested in supporting my channel, check out the link in the description below. Another thing is that I have t-shirts for sale. Those are also available in the description below as well. Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.